Hey guys, welcome back. Joe here again from ScaleFreak.com, coming to bring you the last video in the build series of the Sakura D4 rear-wheel drive drift kit. This one here is going to go through bag 8 and bag 9, which is mounting the body posts, getting the tires on there, and diffuser and bumper. So guys, check out the video, watch the finishing steps, and well, we'll go from there. All right guys, this is it. This is the last video in this series. We're gonna touch on bag 8, and because it's really just body mounts, we're also gonna finish up on bag 9, which was opened in a previous video to get some screws out of it. So first, we'll start with bag 8, which, as I said, it is the body mounts for the kit, as well as the foam bumper. Get out of here. Now, if you are going to run a shell where you're actually gonna put holes in it, this is what you need to do. These are what you're adding on. And of course, there we go. And then of course your foam bumper to try to keep you, if you maybe have a head-on with somebody, keep you from doing too much damage to the truck itself or to your kit. So first we will go through the front bumper. So easy enough, just move this out of the way, break this off the tree, and of course, trim it up. Now we know of course which one the front is because the front has 3 screw holes in it. Now the front bumper itself, when you get it, there's holes for, there's 1 and there's 2 for the shock towers. You just have to remember to pop out the little chunks of foam that are in there, and then bang, you've got that bad boy right there. It's not a big bumper, but it is enough to do the trick. Now, don't forget though, you do have a few more little screws in here. This is what we're gonna use to get it all set up. And of course, there's gonna be 8 body clips because you're gonna do 4 on the top and 4 on the bottom of each one because these little bad boys here go in to mount. So first, we are gonna break off the front body mounts. Now, you know they're the fronts because they've got that little hex on the bottom of it, and that hex actually fits into the hole like that. And then we're gonna grab the 10 mil. Where is it? There's 1 and there is 2. So we're gonna grab those. Those are gonna get threaded in from the bottom with the 2 mil. So there we go. Put it in, stick this on there. Now you figure out which way that you wanna have the holes on the body. I'm making it so they go from side to side because typically I find with some of the on-road shells, the hood is slanted. So if you did it forward to back, because the body holes are straight through this thing, it's either gonna mess up your body or it's just not gonna fit correctly. But from side to side, you should be okay. So we're gonna screw this in here. And just make it nice and tight. I mean, well, don't strip it out, but make it tight because remember, the body's gonna take a beating. So that will stretch the hole a little bit as time goes on. So don't forget to go in there now and then and just tighten it up from the bottom just to make sure that it's not loosening up in any way. So here we go, that's the 1. And now let's just get the second one on here. Ta-da. There we go. So you'll know it's done because it'll actually suck itself right down into the plastic. And of course the bottom of the body post has a big square there, so it's not gonna spin. Now you're going to put this down on here like so. And now the bottom of these, I'll show you this here. The bottom of these are quite wide. See how it's got that big chunk of extra plastic on there? AKA force the foam down on top of it. Just crunch it down. It will split around it, no problem. And ta-da, that's done. Now what we're gonna do is we are going to put the top plate of that on, which basically, again, just run it through the body posts, slam it down. Now we're gonna use the shorter, let me see, 1 and 2. There we go, put this on the top here. Make sure you're threading it through the hole and not just aiming into the middle of nowhere. That's what she said. So there, we've got that one there. And basically what this is doing is it's making sure we're adding a little bit more support to the body mounts, the towers, as well as making sure that foam stays on the top, adding a lot of structure to the front of the bumper as well. Now, so boom, that's done. Now we're going to screw the front bumper into the chassis. So flipping it over, just hold it onto the front for now. Flip it over, and we're just gonna use 2 screws on this. That's all it calls for. Even though there's 3 holes, it's only asking for the 2 screws, which is really all that's needed. line it up, and just get it started. That way you're not bouncing stuff all over the place. And throwing screws. Oh, I just saved it. Thank you to the magnetic pit mat. Wow. It was basically, this floor in this studio is the never-ending pit of lost screws. If a screw hits the ground, yeah, bye-bye, it's gone. So 1 and 2 going in right here. So again, these ones here, there's lots of plastic meat on there, so you can get these things hunkered down a little bit. This might take a few beatings and stuff like that, so just make sure you go back once in a while just to make sure they're not loosening out. It is plastic. This will get hit fairly often if you're not very good like me. So they've got that cranked down. So there we go, flip it over, and so I've got that set up. Now, we're going to take a look at the rear body posts. And these are, what's the best way to say it? Extremely easy. So again, snap them off, clean them up a little bit, right? Because you're going to have a body sliding up and down on this. Clean that up. And these ones here, super, super, super easy. Basically, you're going to feed it in from the front. There's a pilot hole, fits in the bottom one just like that. Grab one of the last of the screws that's left. It's a button head. Throw it first and then pick it back up and then put it into your kit. So basically pop, pop, and screw that bad boy in. Now, I do want to say there are stealth mount options that you can get from RC Mart that I am picking up before I mount my Mustang body. And the main reason being is because when you go out with a whole bunch of drift guys, you'll actually notice that very few of them are actually running a body that they've put holes through in order to run their body with these mounts. And mainly because with stealth mounts, which are a very inexpensive option, you don't have to put holes in the body and you don't see these gigantic antenna poking out of the shell just in case you want to change something later. Now that being said, if you know you're going to run a specific body for a long period of time, or you're not afraid just to get an extra set of body mounts when you need them, some people do just nip the tip off the end of them so it's only enough of what they need. So boom, just like that, that is done. Body mounts are added, front and rear. But wait, there's more. Really, that is actually the end of bag 8. Oh, sorry, no, not quite the end of bag 8. Because what you're gonna do is when you finally find what size you want your body to be or what height you want it to be, you grab these little guys off the parts tree, figure out exactly how high you want the body to be, and put this through there so that bend each one. And then, of course, once you slip the body over top of it, you put the second one on like that, and that will hold it on for you so that your body's all held on exactly the way it's supposed to be. So I don't need to show you how the rest of those go on. But now let's move on to bag 9. Now first, let's talk about the rear diffuser, because that's a thing. And some people use this to add weight. Now, as I open this up, here's the rear diffuser right here. And depending on what kind of body you have, you may actually see this come underneath the back of the kit. Now, all the bodies that I'm using hang out much further than the back of the kit. So really, this thing is just being used as something that I can kind of hang weight off the back of it, which, hey, whatever, works for me. It does exactly what I want it to do. What you're going to do here is just use the last couple of 10 mil countersunk screws that we've got laying around to sink this thing in. So 1 and 2. Basically, it's just going to go in like, oh, where's my driver? There it is. In like so. Super easy. It's 2 screws and that bad boy goes on. There's nothing special about it, so to say. Just like that. And then it just adds a little bit of something to the back. And again, I haven't seen any bodies that are short enough for this to make much of a difference. But again, I've seen people who add weight to the back of this, and that makes all the difference in the world with how their kit performs. This is also a good thing to have on if you're running that body, the battery setup where it hangs off the back. Because if you do it that way, then you're going to have a little bit more support hanging off the back of the truck or the back of the kit plus the screw holes in the back to mount it onto to make sure that that battery stays in place. Remember, when you're running a LiPo unprotected on the back of your any kit, you just kind of want to make sure that you add a little bit of a buffer. Not that these things are going to run into each other in any sort of speed that's going to do that kind of damage, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Let's get this last one cranked down. Sometimes I wish I was using my power drill on this, but whatever. And there it is. So there's that one locked on the back like that. You can see the kind of diffuser on the rear like that if you want to have it on there. And another thing that's a part of this step too is throwing on the antenna mount. So what I like to do with mine, at least, was I put the antenna mount straight in the middle, right about where my receiver was going to be, to make sure that, you know, I have it. Basically, this fits on the top like this, and your screw is going to come through the bottom. Now there is a hole on the bottom of the chassis, just big enough to put your bit through. Put a screw on the end of it, pile it through the top, and then just get your antenna mount set up there on the top of the kit. I always recommend something like this just because, I mean, it keeps the wires out of the way, keeps things kind of looking old school. Just bend that. That way, the other one's all bent back like this so that it doesn't look goofy. And then the last part, I'm getting excited, we're almost getting to the end, are, of course, the tires. Now, the Sakura does come with a set of 4 tires. I tried to use them, but they're just too hard for rear-wheel drive. With an all-wheel drive system, this may work really, really well, but for rear wheel, they were just too hard. Now, they're also not completely mounted to these wheels. You can pop them off. What the instructions suggest that you do is just put a bead of glue, CA glue, around the rim to hold it on there. And that's really all you would have to do. And of course, because you opened that other bag earlier, your wheel nuts are already out. So let's just go 1, and then crank that bad boy on. Now the rims that these things come on actually look really good. I think that the rims look pretty badass, and you could get a different set of tires and put them on here if that's what you wanted to. I know for me, I picked up the MST softs and like the round ones that are built specific for the front wheel drive kit. And I picked up a good set of tires for the rear as well, and I picked up MST wheels. Again, you can grab that stuff at RC Mart as well. And then, oh, I'm so excited. I love when these things are done. As much as I love building, I really do like it when they're done as well. Because then it's like, yay, I can start another one. Not tonight, though. Now I've got to get this kit off to Ketty to get all the electronics set up so that I've got a second running kit just in case something happens. And also what's really neat is you can also, if you've got multiple kits, use one as an experimental test kit. So if you've got one that's set up like perfect, just the way you like it, and you don't want to go setting with any different settings, but you know that there's got to be some way that you can make it drift better, then you clone the setup onto a second kit, try your experimental things on the second kit, and if it worked, switch it to your good one. And that's it, guys. That's the kit. I mean, the only thing missing from here is having the electronics in it, but I already showed you what that was in a previous video. This one here will go to Chris. We'll get all of the electronics done in correctly, and we'll be ready for another weekend drift. There are a few spare parts left over. Like I said, this is the one if you were to mount the battery onto the back, which I originally thought I might go with a setup like that, but I've since decided not to. But that's it. So from here, you would just adjust the kit. Look at the steering, right? Look at this. Look at how much steering this thing has. That's mental. absolutely mental how much steering these things have. And there's modifications to give it even more steering. But that is it for this kit. This thing is absolutely phenomenal. I've had the opportunity to drift it already, and I am ecstatic with how well this thing works. Sakura really knocked it out of the park with how well they built this thing, and I would, in a heartbeat, buy another one if I already didn't have two. I already have two though, so I don't need to buy another one. So guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them down below in the comments field. Please also feel free to share this. Click on like, also click on subscribe. And go check out RC Mart. Go check out the kits that you can get, the combos that you can get. You can get all the Hack Moto stuff. You can get all the Hacktronic stuff. You can get the OMG. And again, if you're gonna go rear wheel drive, make sure you slap a gyro onto that order. You've got to get that thing. So again, thank you very much for the support, and have a great day.